Hey guys, so we're going to continue with our lesson that we have been working on. So we practiced on the sim on Friday, and we looked at the number of births in a population and how we can increase the number of births. So today's lesson, we're going to actually look at the deaths. Remember, when we're looking at populations, and I gave a lot of you feedback that when we're looking at populations, we want to make sure that we're including the number of births and the number of deaths. So Friday we looked at births. Today we're going to look at deaths, and the rest of the week we're going to kind of look at both births and deaths so that we can kind of see and predict what changes can be made in this population. For a complete answer, you need to include information about the births and the deaths. In the last chapter that we did, we learned that for a population to decrease, there must be fewer births than deaths. In this example, the number of voles decreased, so the foxes got less energy from the energy storage molecules, so they reproduced less and had fewer births. A decrease in the fox births led to there being fewer births and deaths, and the size of the fox population decreased. At the end of the lesson, you'll be giving more ecosystem scenarios, and you're going to need to explain why a population changed in size. You should remember that you always include births and deaths in your explanation. We're going to be moving into a new investigation question. What can change the number of deaths in a population? We learned that to change the resource population can lead to a change in the number of births in the consumer population. We did this on Friday, but we know that a change in the number of deaths can also cause a population to change size. Today, we're going to shift our focus to what can change the number of deaths in a population. So once you get finished with this video, what we're going to do is we're going to, the students are going to go into the sim activity in Amplify. You're going to then plan and conduct an investigation to figure out what can change the number of deaths in a population. We're going to be looking at the wee bug population from the sim, and we're going to use what we know about what causes things to affect population sizes, and we're going to predict what change could decrease the number of deaths in the wheat bug population. Okay, so I'm going to now switch to showing you what you're going to be doing in class, then looking at me. And then after this video, you can follow along or rewatch this video if you need to, and then you're going to be going into Amplify under the number 2 section or the sim section to actually be doing this part. But I'm going to go ahead and model what it should look like for you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move myself to the top. So this is kind of what yours looks like. Mine's a little different because I have the teacher version. But when you get to the sim, there's going to be an activity in Amplify where it says changing the number of deaths in a population, part 1. That's where we're going to start. So we're looking at what can change the number of deaths in a population. You're going to plan and conduct an investigation in the sim to find out. In the sim, furbles eat wee bugs, and wee bugs eat green leaves. So if we look right here, the furbles eat the wee bugs, and the wee bugs eat the green leaf. Okay, this particular image, we're showing the arrows are where the energy is going. So when the furble eats the wee bug, the energy from the wee bug transfers or goes to the furble. In the wee bug, when the wee bug eats the green leaf, they get the energy from the green leaf into the wee bug. So the arrows are pointing to what is the actual energy. Okay, so your first choice you're going to have, and you're going to select all answers you think are correct, are what change or changes do you think would decrease the number of deaths in the wee bug population? Your options are to increase the green leaves, to decrease the green leaves, to increase the furbles, or decrease the furbles. And then what you're going to do in this box is you're going to explain why you chose those answers. Then if you go down below, you're going to plan an investigation to test your ideas. So in this particular box, you're going to say what you're going to change, which is the independent variable. Remember, independent is I for independent and I for what I am changing. So what are you going to change in the independent variable in your test? So what you're going to change is actually the things that you suggested are up here, because that is what change you're going to make in the sim. Okay. So then the next question is, what are you going to observe and record? So what we're observing and what we're recording are the dependent variables, or what is happening, what is dependent of what we are changing. And then at the bottom, what will you keep the same, which is the control. You don't want to change too many things at one time, because you can't tell. If you change too many things, then you don't know which of those changed things actually is causing an effect in your experiment. So those are the things that you're going to answer first. Let me move my toolbar out of the way. Okay. And then you're going to click the next button once you've done your pre-record. Okay. So it says here for partners, but we're all home. So we're going to go through and we're going to look at the instructions. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and switch my mouse into focus so that you guys can see. All right. So we're going to the next spot. So you're going to use your responses in part 1 to describe the steps that you're going to take, and you're going to create a data table. If the students predicted that more than one change could decrease the number of deaths, make sure that they plan to test each change. I'm going to remind you of a few things. You're going to want to run the sim for a period of time before making a change so that you can see. You want to see what's happening in the simulation before you make a change so that you can say, is it actually changed what was actually happening? You're going to make large changes in order to see large effects. So if you want to be able to see if something is affecting something, let's make it a large change so that we can immediately see, oh yes, this is definitely different. You're going to lock the population that you change after you change it so that you can see the results more easily. Note the change maker on the graph marks the time they made the change. And then you're going to use the range window to observe deaths before and after the change. And you're going to use the range window to compare deaths and births before and after the change. Then you're going to complete the sim activity. Okay. So down here, it says work with your partner, but you're going to do it on your own. You're going to look at your responses from the previous screen. Those are the things we entered on how we're going to carry out our investigation. What are you going to change? What is the I change? What is the independent variables that you're going to be changing in the sim so that you can record the results, or the dependent variables about what is happening? You're going to create a data table to record the results of your test. You may not need all columns and rows that are on the data table. And then you're going to go ahead and start your investigation in the sim and record your results. And then you're going to answer the questions below. So we have the steps that you're going to take here. What are you going to be doing? What are you going to be observing? What are you going to be recording? Then we have our data table, and it's blank. So you can determine what it is you're measuring and what things need to go in the boxes. Okay. So from here, if we're going to be measuring, you're going to want to do grass leaves, and you're going to want to look at your foreballs and all three of your and your wheel population. So you want to make sure you're seeing changes in all of them, and you want to make sure you're saying whether you're increasing or decreasing. So these are our 3 columns here, and then you're writing down any data that you're collecting based on changes, and you can keep adding rows if you need to. And then they're going to ask the questions, what change decreased the number of deaths in the wee bug population? And you're going to check all that apply. Did you increase the green leaves, decrease the green leaves, increase the furballs, decrease the furballs? Okay. And then you're going to answer the question, after the change, the wee bug population either increased, decreased, or remained stable because there were more births and deaths, fewer births and deaths, the same number of births and deaths in the wee bug population. And then you're going to do the same thing down here, given your results from the above. What change would increase the number of deaths in the wee bug population? And then you're going to check all that you think are correct. Increase green leaves, decrease green leaves, increase furballs, decrease furballs, and explain why you chose that answer. Once you're done, and it'll turn red once you finish entering all these answers in, you're going to click hand in. Okay, so now that you've completed the sim and completed the activities in Amplify, you're going to go back to Encore's Classroom, and you're going to click on the assessment for this particular lesson. It's called Populations and Resources, Lesson 2.4, and this is what it's going to look like. When you click on the pink assessment tab, it's going to bring you to this screen. So you're going to click Start, And the first question is going to show you a roe deer and a lynx, and it's going to give you evidence. The lynx and roe deer between 1900 and 1940. Lynx and roe deer live near Glacier Sea. Lynx eat roe deer. In the early 1900s, the lynx population decreased in size because of hunting by humans. When this happened, the roe deer population increased in size. So your writing prompt is, why did the roe deer population change in size? Be sure to discuss births and deaths, because we're talking about population, in your answer. Your word bank of words you can use is consumer population, energy storage molecules, resource population, if you choose to, and you're going to type your response in the box. Remember, this is a claims, evidence, and reasoning, or a CER. So you're going to state your claim, provide evidence to support your claim, and give reasons using those word bank items as to why, scientific reasons as to why your evidence supports your claim. All right, and there's 3 of them. So we'll go to the next one. The next one is roe deer and lynx. So this is the lynx and roe deer between 1940 and 1980. The lynx and roe deer live near Glacier Sea. Lynx eat roe deer. Lynx had almost disappeared from the Glacier Sea area because of hunting by humans. In 1940, it became illegal to hunt lynx. When hunting stopped, the lynx population increased in size. When this happened, the roe deer population decreased in size. So your writing prompt is, why did the roe deer population change in size? Be sure to discuss births and deaths in your answer. And same as before, it's a claims, evidence, and reasoning, or CER. You're going to state your claim, provide evidence to support your claim, and use your scientific reasoning and items from the word bank to explain why your evidence supports your claim. And then the third prompt is going to be the lynx and the roe deer between 1980 and 2016. The lynx and the roe deer live near Glacier Sea. Lynx eat roe deer. In 1980, the lynx population began to decrease in size. Hunting was made illegal in 1940, but authorities think that the lynx are now being hunted illegally. When the lynx population decreased in size, the roe deer population increased. So your prompt is, why did the roe deer population change size? Be sure to discuss births and deaths in your answer. Again, this is a claims, evidence, and reasoning, or CER. You're going to state your claim, provide evidence to support your claim from the text, and you're going to use scientific reasoning and word bank items to help explain why your evidence supports your claim. Once you are done, you're going to click the review button, and then you're going to click the finish button. And it's going to tell me, mine says unattempted, but it should say whether yours are attempted or not. Are you sure you want to submit? And you click yes. And it's going to say activity successfully submitted. And then you are done with your activities for science for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or Mr. Teagle, or post a message in OnCourse Classroom.